Thank you for coming to watch Dr. Smith's video today. We encourage you to hit the subscribe button and the alert button. That way you can get notifications when he uploads a new video. Thank you for coming today.
So we hope you take the time to hear and think about it. And if you have a book, read in the book about the concept and the topics that we talk about. They have a lasting effect. The intent is not necessarily to treat pain, but to make permanent, long-term correction with your whole family and your friends.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Today the topic is stress, causes, effects, and benefits. Now, we had a really good class yesterday. One of the questions comes up, what is stress? And the answer is, it's different for everybody. And the truth is, we all have it. And that never goes away. We'll always have stress. And that doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Any change is a stress. Even if you eat perfect, good food, when the food goes into your gut, the gut says, oh, we have a project. We have work to do. It creates a stress. That's chemical. If you have good massage, soak in bathtub, it's a change. Any kind of a change is a type of stress. Now, not all stress is bad. Some stress is good. The key is, how do you handle it? And what are the effects of stress? Stress is very personal. It's very individualized. I happen to believe that God tutors each of us. We all have our share of stress. And the bad news is, the better you become, the greater your stress.
We all need to laugh at this, don't we? Group laugh.
So if you currently have a lot of stress, take it as a compliment from God. You're doing good. But now we're going to sharpen you a little bit more. If you just did your Come Follow Me program, you learned about Job and the different levels of stress that he went through from the outside into the inside. So today, when I talk about stress, we're going to start with you in the center. Around you, you have spouse. You have male and female family members. And those that are closest to you can have the most effect in you. We can go out to your relatives. We can go out further to your friends at church. We can go out further to the people who live in your community, even if you don't know them. We can eventually go out even further to the people who live in Washington.
God bless them. And guide them.
Now, part of what I want you to leave with today is how to effectively deal with them wherever they are. And the truth is, those that are out here, that are causing you stress from the outside in, the way to deal with them is to not deal with them. The only thing you can do for Nancy Pelosi or the other people who live in the swamp
Send her a fifth.
is what?
Send her a fifth.
No, don't contribute to her delinquency. Just offer a humble, simple prayer to God and just ask Him to tell Him you're praying for Nancy. And the more specific your prayers, the more valid the effect.
So explain that. Do you say, I'm praying for Nancy Pelosi, is that specific?
That's what her name specifies where your faith is going.
Okay.
I am praying for means you're not giving God advice, telling Him what you want Him to do with her.
Because each one of us could see Nancy Pelosi differently.
We do. We do.
And send all that advice to God.
We all see our family members differently. And as life goes on, your vision changes. You see your spouse differently now than you did when you were married. You see your spouse differently when your spouse is gone. They're kind of like fish. They grow better with time.
Let Lori tell the story.
Yeah. Either way. So today our discussion is about you in the middle. And the you in the middle, I think of a triangle. So the stress can bother you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, chemically, structurally. When you have forward leaning posture and it affects your foot, it also affects your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, your digestion, your brain. I saw a fellow early this morning who's 80 or a little older than that. His main concern was brain function because of head forward posture. To help the brain heal, we have to get the posture back to more neutral. Now, how long does that take?
Long time.
A long time. That's the right answer. He may never correct if he does not do repetitive microtherapy to train the new tissue that's growing in the body to do the things right. We can't fix the old tissue that's there. Like my boy last night, when I pointed out his weaknesses, and he said, "So, Doc, how long is this going to take?" I said, you can fix this. How long is it going to take?" Well, I told him at least a year. He was shocked. He figured we could do it this week. And that's impossible. It's not even rational if you understand the way the body works. Here's the good news. Anytime you do any kind of therapy to help any area of your body, I'll say that in a different way. Anytime you reduce stress anywhere in your body, you've helped the whole body. I saw a lady earlier this morning that used to do zoning on feet, and she asked me what I felt about that. My answer was the same as I tell you. Anytime you can do any kind of therapy to help any area, you've helped the body. And the more you help the body, think of the bucket, the body being like a bucket. The more energy you have in the bucket, the fuller the bucket is, the better you can handle all stress, good or bad. It's all about energy. I had a lady who was at the family reunion, slipped at a water slide and landed, fell flat on her back, and her head hit hard. Boom. She said, I think I need to be checked. So I checked her and said, you did a major brain trauma. She said, I thought I did, but I figured in a couple of days it'd be better. I said, no, you need to take the month off, at least, because it's going to take that long to recover. Now, I told you when we check blood pressure, if your body needs more blood in an area, the blood pressure goes up, right?
Mhm.
Well, I took her blood pressure and it went way down. Why? Because she damaged tissue in her head, and her body doesn't want to have a lot of pressure on damaged brain cells. It wants to have her lay down and rest. She said, what about listening to tapes or watching TV? The answer is no. Your brain needs to be on pause for a long time to allow it time to recover. So anytime you have a stress, whether good or bad, the way your body deals with it is largely determined by the amount of energy you have available at the time. Now, having an earthing pad gives you an advantage, because when you sleep on the grounded, Mother Earth gives you, during the night while you sleep, energy that will help fill up the bucket a little bit. Every night, you get a little bit of energy from that. So those of you who want to know more about earthing or grounding, you can borrow that book and read it, or go online and watch the video. It's a very, very good thing to do, because again, that helps you handle stress better. Okay, back to the triangle. The question is, which area of your body, which area of your life do you need the most help with? Where is the most stress in your life? And as I think about it, I think it comes down to a couple of basic principles. One is control. You like to be in control of what's going on. And if you don't have control, it's more stressful to you.
Can I add to that?
Amen.
And when you want the control and you don't get it, that's really
That's
stressful
even-
to you. If you give up needing the control, I think stress gets better.
Okay, how do you do that?
I don't know, I'm working on it.
It's a constant.
I just have to know it's okay if I don't get what I want.
So I give up. I'm not gonna try again.
Okay, now
Often and often, so I've got
Difference
this.
between giving up and, what's the word?
choosing to let go.
It's an S word, I can't remember, but there's a difference between, oh my, giving up, or just submitting or whatever. It's not submitting, but
Let me say it to you again. The way to deal with stress that you can't change, permanently deal with it, is release it. Release it.
I like that. I'd like to know how to do that, because it keeps coming back every time, same
You're talking about your dog or your husband?
husband. My dog died.
well, there you go.
There you go.
He was my companion, the one I tried to.
Now that's very close to home.
Yeah.
That's right on the inner circle.
Yes.
And for some people, the best thing to do is to cut the cord. We had our oldest daughter married a pretty good guy, not really good, but pretty good, and had a semi successful relationship, and had 4 kids, and then this moderately good person became less good, and finally not good at all. So she wrestled hard with that stress for a long time. She didn't want to feel that situation. And finally the stress was breaking the bridge. So something had to break, either her or the relationship. When she got a divorce, it was one of the best things that she could have done at the time to stop the ongoing stress. Another child, a second son, who married early, too early, and realized soon thereafter we made a mistake. So the question was, do we try to make, we're way different, do we try to make it work or do we break it? And the correct answer was, we can still be friends, but we're not meant for each other. So they separated, and he later found a very good wife. They've been married now, 27 years, a long time, with 6 kids, and they're very happy. But it was the wrong thing to do. Some people that I treat, so that I know, that I associate with, have been in a relationship with for a long time, and it's individual choice whether they hang on or not. And sometimes it's better to, like my other son says, it is what it is. You can't change a tiger into a lion, you know, they are what they are. And you can either let go of the expectation, I'll put it that way, let go of the expectation. And what I would say to most of you, with family relationships, whether it be spouse or kids, it is what it is. And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, let it go. It's not worth breaking you down or breaking your relationship down. The relationship is more important to you to maintain your personal integrity. And when we talk about that kind of thing, we're talking about eternal principles of mercy and judgment and being an agency. Let them be what they are, let them do what they do, be the best you can be. Now, if you listen to country and western songs,
You lose everything.
what?
You lose everything.
Yeah,
Your dog, your house, your wife.
yeah, don't listen to that stuff. Okay, so we're gonna move on. But I want you to know, I say many times to patients, you're responsible for you. Don't drown, don't let the lifeguard drown. You have to save yourself first. And it's okay if other people do whatever they're gonna do. Accept them and love them just like they are. Be the best influence, because many times they come around. I've had a lot of people that I've worked with that I knew that have been jerks. They've been evil. They've done stupid things for many years, and then they see the light or whatever, and they change. So don't give up on any of them, but maintain your own integrity. Now, I have a sheet for you, and I could spend a lot of time on this. This is in the book. It's called Balancing Your Life by Choice. Actually, some of you had this before. I actually filled part of it out to save this time today, just to give you an idea. You can use the words, you can change the word at the top from your health, you can change it to your marriage, your relationship with family, you can put your farm, your business, whatever you want. But the principle is the same. You then list here on this part, you list the different aspects of whatever it is you're working on. I did one time with my children, improving my relationship with my children. So each child got their own line. Then we score. We put the score on how it's working, 0 to 10. 0 means it sucks. It's not doing good at all. It might even be negative. 10 means it's perfect. And if you give a number of 10, I'll tell you right now you're lying. Okay? Then you take that number, you put it on the wheel according to where it fits, 0 to 10.
Is 10 on the outside of the circle or the center?
Outside. 10 is really good.
Oh, so you're connecting all the dots.
You're
right?
connecting the dots. The reason you do that is when your mother-in-law calls and says, how's it going? You can look at your wheel and say, well, right now, life's pretty rough.
Is that rough?
What would smooth be?
A circle.
If possible.
You want it to look as close to a wheel as
The
possible,
center.
right? Like that's not gonna roll.
Oh,
That's
That's
not
a pretty
gonna
rough
roll.
looking
so
wheel.
round.
10 is on the
Yeah.
outside.
Oh, 10 is on the outside. 10 is on the outside.
Yes, I had a really good family that I worked with in Colorado, and they were very humble Christian people. They didn't travel much, they didn't have much, they were very simple. And when we would do this wheel up for them, most of their things were a 3, 2, 3, or 4. Guess what? Their life was pretty smooth. Small, but smooth.
Generally.
I had other families who were like, there was a general, retired general, president of his own company, so he was a 9 on his wheel as far as his life. I'm really good, but that same person who had a 10 has a 3 on children because I had a couple of kids that were off. So his life was very skewed. Who has the greatest stress? The one that's way out of balance or the one that's more smooth? Obviously the smooth one. So what's the desire? The desire is to work on the weakest area first. So when you look at this, you then pick the number. I picked it for you. Number 3. It's B, E, and G. We pick the lowest scores, and that's what we work on. Look at the easier things first. Now, we have another circle. You can take the low number on this one. We can take one of the 3s. One is elimination and one is sleep. We could take one of those and move it over here and do a whole wheel on how to improve sleep. Could be take a bath before we go to bed, stand in the T-zone, take some REM, take an hour or 2 to get ready for bed, change your pillow, change your sheets. Some of you sleep better in flannel sheets than you do silk sheets. Whatever it is, that's how you make some improvements in your life. Now, this goes together with this other worksheet. This worksheet is also in the book. These are tools. We're not going to spend a lot of time. I want you to just get the concept. So if you use this sheet as a counter stress, we'll take it and list a few things that on this section right here. Number one, that you're currently doing that add life, health, and energy. And I've broken it down into 3 categories. Do you have any questions about that? You're currently doing stuff in each of those areas. So if I ask you, so what are you doing to help yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
Read scriptures, pray.
Good.
Forgive.
Forgive.
Read good books.
Begin to forgive.
Anybody that you feel has offended you, or even yourself.
Even yourself. Yes. My mother used to say, and I know this is recorded, I'm gonna forgive that son of a bitch, but I will get everything.
Oh, that's my dad's favorite word.
She was very good at forgiving. And she taught me how to swear. And I've forgiven her for it.
But have you repented?
Oh, cute.
My brother said some words are therapeutic.
Yep, when you hit yourself.
Especially on the farm.
Yep.
Now, the second section, this is where the rubber meets the road. I recommend you spend some time to think about the things that are happening in your life that are closest to you, that drain you, that subtract from you, that cost you. For example, I saw a lady last night from Pocatello, and she said she hurt herself in the yard and knocked a rib out of place in the front. And when I was helping her, she said, I have a big yard. Then she said, my yard is too big. Well, guess what? A lot of people have homes, yards, projects that are too big. So what do?
Scale down.
What?
Scale down.
You scale down. I said to her, if you honestly, truly feel that way, then you probably want to get a different home with a smaller yard. And it
Hire
might
a
take-
yard service.
Pardon?
You could hire a yard
You
service.
could do that too. It might take you a couple of years to make the change. I have another couple, one of your neighbors, who spent a lot of time in the yard, and that's what I told them to do. Because they call me and say, we're both dying and we need help. And so how did you get that bad? Well, we've been doing yard work. I said, well, here's a number.
We decided to put things in pots and then put the rest of this, say we have a section by our house that we put all the things in pots and then put gravel in between so that's easy to weed. You don't have to do anything. It just, in the springtime is the biggest, but that's not a big thing anymore.
So
But you don't have to weed it constantly.
Exactly, and that's the problem with a lot of people who have big yards. Not that I'm opposed to big yards, but you have to deal with this, all stress appropriately. So take the time at home to list as many things as you can that drain you and put them in the correct category. Some of them we'll find are very simple, but they're repetitive. I call it repetitive micro trauma. It could be your couch, could be your seat in your car, could be a pair of shoes you bought, could be your pillow. It could be what's in the refrigerator, whatever it is. It could be what you're watching on TV or reading or listening to, the music. Be very specific, okay? Then when you get this done, take a few minutes and think back. If you're making this statement, I am getting better and better every day in every way. If you're doing that like I taught you to do, you're getting ideas that come to you, maybe from inspiration, maybe from a movie, or maybe from reading a book, and maybe from class. You get an idea of something you should do, or you should change. So the idea is to not do.
And things change with age also. Like 2 years ago, my yard was not too big, but now it is.
And who's changed, the yard or you?
Somebody else, not me.
So then what do? You have box 1 and box 2 filled out. Now, up to this point, you're just having a committee meeting with yourself. So for all you've done is thought and talked. And the real value is when you do something. Now, what you do and how you do it is important to you. And today's lesson is how to deal with stress permanently, effectively. And I've already told you the things that are on the outside, and some of them may be on here too. What's going on in China, what's going on in wherever it is, Africa, Washington, Boise, maybe down the street. You can't do anything about it. The way you deal with it is choose to not deal with it. And don't think you're giving up. That's not giving up. That's making a wise choice for survival and improvement to your health. So
the word I was thinking of was surrender. Surrendering is powerful, giving up isn't.
I don't know.
If surrender's a choice.
That means beaten down to me.
I wouldn't
You don't like
use
surrender?
that word. You can if you want, but my word is let go. I'm just going to release it. It's not my issue. Technically, it's none of my business. It's not even any of my business what you think about me. Okay? So, here's what you do. You do the same thing my wife does in the yard. We have a lot of flowers in our yard. We get flowers when she finds a weed. This represents weeds. She pulls a weed, goes down the Sunnyside nursery and buys another flower and puts it in. These are flowers. These are things you want to do, you could do, should do, you know how to do, but you haven't done it yet. You haven't had time. You haven't had money. You haven't had the freedom. You haven't.
What about desire? Where does that fit in?
What?
You don't want to do it anymore. What about desire?
You may,
Desire to do something, to change.
if you, lack of desire is a symptom of stress. Let it go. But you take one thing from this category to stop doing it. Start doing one thing over here and stick with it long enough that it's habit. There's not room to do this anymore. You're done over here with that one. Mark it off. If you make a copy of this sheet and do it one time a month for a year, you would change your life. You're coming around, Denise?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I give you an example, a real example. I had a friend, a patient in Colorado Springs who was an electrician and he smoked a lot. He loved to smoke. His wife didn't want him smoking at home, but he smoked about 3 packs a day. At the class, he filled this out. He came to me after class and said, "What do you think about this?" I looked at him, smiled and said, "You have a lot of stress in your life." He said, "Yeah, tell me about it." I said, "Do what I told you to do in class. Pick it easy, something's easy. Something's easy. Stop doing that, start doing this, keep smoking. If you do that, you get stronger. If you do that procedure, you become, your bucket will fill up, you become a stronger person. And when you're ready, the time will come when you will be able to stop smoking." And life went on. About a year later, one day he was in the office and he looked at me and said, "I'm ready." And I,
For what?
"For what?" "Good, what are you ready for?" "I'm ready to stop smoking." I said, "When are you going to do it?" He said, "How about today?" He stopped. Done, over. Because he was stronger. He filled up his bucket by eliminating the drain on his bucket. Okay, that's how that project works. Some of you will never do it, I know that. If you do, it's going to be a life-changing thing for you. Now, like I told a family yesterday, if you do this sheet over and over, pretty soon you will not need to do the sheet because you will automatically not want to put things over here. You will not want to store things over here. You will not want to clutter up your life. I'll tell you another quick story. Our home teacher was us patriarch in Colorado. He was a sweet old guy, as it started. And I was out one day at a garage sale and found what I thought was a jewel. It was an old-fashioned flat razor blade sharpener. You put a flat razor in it, had a piece of leather, had a crank in it. You crank and it sharpened the razor blade. And I thought, this is perfect for Brother Stoddard. He's old, he'll recognize this. So I bought it and took it home and put it on our mantle and could hardly wait for him to come. Well, they came. And when they was done with the lesson, they got ready to leave. I said, "Brother Stoddard, I have a gift for you." And I took it down and handed it to him. He looked at it. I was excited, man. I figured he'd jump for joy. He looked at it, looked at it, looked at it, looked at it. Said, "I don't want this piece of junk."
Did he know what it was?
Oh, he knew what it was. He said, "If I take this home, my wife will not be happy because what would she do with this piece of junk? Where would she put it? You keep it." And I thought, son of a gun. So he said, "I don't want to clutter up my life with junk." I thought a lot about that, and he had a clean garage. He had a clean house. He didn't have any junk. When they moved, it was easy for them to move. And what did I do with it? I kept it for a long time, and then finally threw it away. I didn't want to throw it away because it was, to me, it was like, should have been in a museum or
Then I'll buy
something. Anyway. So the idea is to not clutter up your life with stuff that belongs on that side of the life sheet. Okay. Would you mind being the reader?
I'll read if I can see it. Any stress, whether positive or negative, affects me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, structurally, and chemically.
True.
Okay, Donna, you be the teacher.
True.
Okay?
While using the affirmation, I am getting better and better every day in every way. I become more receptive to greater stress as well as more complete solutions.
True.
True.
I don't know, what does it mean, more receptive to greater stress? What is that saying?
That means
More capable or
You're handling it better, or you're inviting it in?
the wind blows hardest on the peaks.
Oh.
The better you get, the higher you are, the greater the stress.
Okay, I guess it's true then.
So that's the one disadvantage of becoming better.
So if unloading my stress causes him stress,
Him who?
him my partner in crime,
That's your problem.
right, but I'm willing to let him live as long as he can. And he may not live as long if I get rid of everything, because that causes him, the garbage can is evil. You just can't throw. But if I just start throwing, it's gonna make him feel stressed.
Repentant of his sins. Let
Let him be stressed?
it's up to your decision, not mine.
Come on, I wanted some help. You throw out
maybe
that
it'll
stuff.
come clear after you fill out your paper.
It does.
After
So
40
Maybe
years,
all
come
of
on.
these,
So do
like you
we-
said, this will help. Maybe it'll help. You could do smaller things, and then,
I've
Build
done,
then
that-
it'll happen.
I've done sneaky things.
One time I took all of John's stuff out of the closet when we first married. This is an old shirt, this is an old shirt. And I made a mistake of stacking them so I could take them to the DI. Well, he found the stack and
Yeah,
put them all
got it.
back in his closet.
Oh,
So then I can't do it again because then,
I found garbage bags full of clothes that I had ready to take to the DI back in the garage because he's gotten out of the car.
Okay, one at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time.
You won't notice one.
Okay. I'm not gonna,
yeah, he will.
no reason to discuss this. The more specific the identification of a stressor, the greater the possibility of solution.
True.
Stress of any kind is always bad.
False.
Choose which is best. Solve the easiest problems first. Solve the hardest problems first and give it my all.
A.
Give it my all.
A.
Whatever the goal, success is most likely achieved when it is specific and written.
Keep going.
Oh, measurable and requires divine intervention.
True.
Yesterday in class, one of our attendees said, if it's not worth praying about, it's not worth doing.
Or worrying about. Yeah.
Praying about. None of you should be worrying about anything. If you are, it's because you lack. It's because you lack control, and you want control. And the God in heaven wants to honor agency. That's one of his main characteristics, is to honor agency. When I was on my mission, I had an opportunity to be in a very receptive area at the time of the Vietnam War. So a lot of the people I taught were young men on the way to Vietnam. They were away from home, so they were pretty open to and receptive to spiritual things. So and we had this opportunity to teach and baptize quite a few of them. And one of the local members in authority said, "We don't think they're ready. You're pushing them in the water, they're too quick." So my mission president got involved with this debate on the whole situation. And the bottom line, when it's all said and done, he contacted Salt Lake and talked to the president of the church. And the word came back was every person should be given the opportunity to fail. If they pass their interview, put them in the water.
Wow.
I thought that was,
And then what they do with it is up to them.
yeah, and we baptized a few that, they kind of glanced off under the water and back out in the world. But a lot of them stayed, and a lot of them died in Vietnam after having accepted the program. So having the opportunity, that's agency, opportunity to fail, okay?
Number 7, choose. Stress affects me in the following way.
Okay, this is personal.
Difficulty breathing, loss of appetite, irritable and angry, tiredness and fatigue, sleep problems, muscle and joint pain, high blood pressure, indigestion and constipation, losing interest in activities.
All of the above.
All the above. For a lot of people, that's it.
So that's stressful. When you look at it and go, oh, that's me. Don't think about it.
Okay, change your attitude on stress.
Opportunity
Exactly.
To fail.
to
Yeah.
succeed.
How am I going to deal with it? Well, I can either take a bite at a time, or I could choose not to deal with it. And no call it failure. Just that's how. The way I'm going to deal with it is not deal with it. That's a solution to the problem. It's gone.
So when you say not deal with it, here it's in the back of your mind nagging you, or you have to let it out
Let
of
it
there.
go.
Let it go. It's,
Let it go.
You ever tried pulling a mule that doesn't want to come?
uh-huh. I
What do
can
you
tell the
do?
name,
What do? You let it go.
Let
and
it
then
go.
it will fall.
And then it will do whatever it's gonna do, but you can't make it do anything. You get to choose what to do with those reins. You can keep pulling and pulling and pulling and fighting and fighting and fighting, whether it's a person or a thing or a habit or whatever, or you can let it go. And let it do what it's gonna do. And you keep moving forward and growing.
When I was younger, they came out with all-terrain vehicles. They had 3 wheels on each side. You sat in the middle, they had 2 controls, like the old Caterpillar tractors. And this controlled the wheels on this side, this one on this side. So you push that one forward, push both forward, you go straight. You go up on the side hill in the sagebrush, you're going up a hill, and you're trying to keep it going where you want to go, and you lose control. So we learned the best way to gain control is what?
Let go.
Let go.
Do nothing.
Not do nothing. We let go. And then we whoosh. Now we have control again. We start off slow but easy and gentle. They need to get the right words. Let go. That doesn't mean put it in the back of your mind. That's like my mom. I'll forgive you, but
I won't forget.
it's okay.
See, when you do that, it doesn't do anything to cause you more stress, right? I mean, you've got this, you say, let it go, but it's still in the back of my mind. Well, then you haven't let it go, and it's still causing you stress. And it's nothing you can do anything about, at all. You try to get rid of your husband's clothes, he just puts them back. Well, those are his clothes. He doesn't want to get rid of them. Don't make him get rid of them. All you have to do is wash them and fold them, but you're washing and folding clothes anyways. So
See, it's giving up what you want.
it's his stuff,
Doesn't
Susan.
Choosing
matter.
your battles. And
You can't get rid of anybody else's stuff, whether it's clothes or stress or habits or or a job or a spouse that you don't like, that they married. You can't. It's their thing. So you just love them anyways.
I love them anyway.
I can't repent of your sins.
No, you can't. You can't let anybody else's stuff go. You can't make restitution for anybody else's crap.
Okay, next.
Okay, are we on 8 or 9?
8.
Stress can be positive, such as when it helps avoid danger, bad choices, or meeting a deadline.
True.
True.
The use of the stress release worksheet tool can be an effective counter-stress therapy, even if used once every few months.
Sure.
Each stress listed on the stress release worksheet affects me differently as I change, whether strengthening or weakening.
True.
It will look, all the things in your sheet look different a month from now.
The more universal laws that I know and adhere to, the greater my joy.
True.
Thank you. Now, one of the ways that I use to measure how people I work with are dealing with stress is the Ragland's test. The simple test where you take the blood pressure and you have them stand up and do it again. If it goes up, they have the energy to deal effectively with more stress. If it drops, they need to eliminate the stress. And how's the easiest way to eliminate stress? Let go.
So it took me 2.5 years to get my Raglan's to go up 10. It was like a celebration day. It took 1 day on a kayak for 2 hours to put me down 30. I knew the minute my body,
On what was it?
Yeah.
a kayak. On it wasn't a stressful, the water wasn't deep, it was
But what
slow.
levels? I missed what you were saying, what you said at first.
Oh, it took me 2.5 years to get my Raglan test up, so it showed my body
It's the
actually
Raglan.
had energy.
That's where we take the blood pressure, sitting, and then stand up.
Oh, that's what we
That's
call
the
it.
Raglan test.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's it. One of the most effective things you can do in your life to help you deal with stress chemically is fruits and vegetables. Most people are low on fruits and vegetables. This product is one of this company markets that as one of the most effective things to deal with stress in general. If you have problems sleeping, REM sleep works very well.
I love that.
If you're not dreaming, then your body during the night is not healing like it could. You should be dreaming. If you're not dreaming, I recommend you take 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it takes, to get you in deep sleep. Now, I'll give you 2 examples. One, I had a lady who was really society president. Her mind is always going. For that to work for her, we had to give her 1 to 4, 1 to 7, 1 to 9. Kind of like slowing down when you're going 90 miles an hour and you're coming to a stop sign. We had to slow her down a little bit at a time. Another person they gave it to said, try 1 or 2 and see how you do. They come back and said, I don't like that.
Why?
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 It made me dream bad dreams that I haven't dreamed for years, and now I'm dreaming. Guess what?
It's working.
It's working. I said, good. So what happens? Here's what happens. As you get used to sleeping,
It's just
and
like
you
that sounds
start
funny.
to heal, and your subconscious mind has cleared off a lot of the junk that you've accumulated that doesn't make sense in your life. You will start having dreams that are good dreams. Like when you finally have a dream, that you wake up and dang, I need to go back to sleep and finish it. You know, that was a good dream, but I didn't get to watch the end. That's when you truly heal it. If you can dream when you have your nap in the daytime, you're doing good. If you're thinking about stuff, you're stressed, you're spinning. Don't do that. Just let it go. Make a decision. I'm gonna let it go.
What's that last product, Dr. Smith?
The last product,
Up-to-adrenal. That's what we give people when they fail the Ragland's test. We take the blood
He's
pressure.
pointing over here.
I've taken it for a long
me.
time.
oh, he does that test all the time.
No, just so you know, every morning I get up in this zone. I do my 12 minutes. I sit down in the chair and I take my blood pressure, take my pulse ox. I do the Ragland's test. Sometimes it drops.
Even though you've been on the exercise, or you've done some exercise.
It's not
It's
exercise.
not that. But that usually makes your blood pressure go up. To a degree.
What I said was, I fail the Ragland's test.
Right.
Sometimes. What do I do when I do it that fail it?
Adrenal.
Same thing you do. I take it 1 or 2 adrenal.
Can you spell Raglan for me? That just sounds.
Raglands. Raglands.
Lands.
Is that named after a person?
Okay.
What?
Thank
Was
you.
that named after a person that discovered that?
Probably Dr. Ragland.
Yeah.
Doctors are egotistical. Thank you for
Probably.
your input and questions.